Hello, everybody, and welcome again to another episode of the Risk Matrix with James Junkin.
Roll Tide. James
Roll
Junkin
Tide.
just returned from a live episode of the Risk Matrix in New Orleans, Louisiana. And let me tell you, that was a great experience. So if you follow us and you've not seen that episode, go back, check it out. That episode with Brett Ketterkamp. Amazing job Brett did.
I'm also on this podcast, Dr. Martin, and it looks like James brought somebody back from the Veriforce event to talk to us about another topic. So we've got another person that we're going to talk to. James is going to introduce him in a little bit, but before we do that, this episode of the Risk Matrix is powered by Veriforce. It's sponsored by Veriforce's newest instructor-led course, Lockout, Tagout, Affected and Authorized Persons Training. The failure to properly isolate energy has led to thousands of injuries and fatalities each year. Lockout, Tagout violations are number 6 in the most frequently cited standards for OSHA. Enter Veriforce's newest program, Lockout, Tagout, for authorized and affected persons. Using an instructor-led approach, the course is focused on reducing SIFs among workers. The curriculum is comprehensive and offers both theoretical knowledge and practical application as required by OSHA. To learn more about Veriforce's newest course, email trainingsales@veriforce.com. And there we have it. That is our read and our sponsor for the show, powered by Veriforce. I'm going to hit it back to James because James, he drugged somebody over here from the event.
I did.
Who do we got?
And before we introduce Stephen, let me say this about that course that's launched. You and I worked as consultants on that course. So it's not just an awareness level course. It's actually a course designed to train people to go out and perform actual lockout, tagout, and energy isolation. So look forward to seeing response on that real soon as we all work together to bring workers home safe from high hazard jobs. But today's guest on the Risk Matrix is our newest member to the Veriforce Strategic Advisory Board. Met him for the first time in person down in New Orleans at the Veriforce Select Client Series event. Stephen Oji. He hails from Nigeria. He holds a postgraduate degree in safety engineering and risk management. He has a master's in business administration and a project management professional certification. Currently, Stephen is enrolled in 2 doctoral programs. How he's doing that, I don't know. I'm about to die over here in 1 doctoral program. But anyway, he has many years of international experience with major oil and gas companies. He's the principal owner of No Copycats LLC, which is a digital transformation and safety management consulting firm. He is also the co-author of Crafting Your Own Turf: Successful Strategies for Attaining Significance in Business, Career, and Life. And we have his book with us today on the podcast. And I'm looking forward to talking to Stephen about his book and a little bit about his career in occupational safety and health. Welcome, Stephen.
Thank you, James. Thank you, Dr. Martins. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
So Stephen, we always want to know how do people get started in safety? Like, were you born to do this? Were you born to be a safety professional, or were you homegrown somewhere within a company and move your way up to really care about high hazard workers and leadership and whatever? What is your trajectory? What was your trajectory?
Okay, for me is I think safety found me. Because that was my first major career in the oil and gas industry. That was in 2004, 2005. Just leaving college in Nigeria. Then Shell, which we call SPDC in Nigeria, at that time had this safety training they do for fresh graduates. Once you leave college, after your mandatory 1 year post leaving school program that you run in Nigeria. Once you're done with that, you could sign up and take a 3-week course on HSC level 1, level 2, and level 3. So basic safety training. So I did that with the Nigerian Society of Safety Professionals, sponsored by Shell. Finished that, and started applying for jobs. And I happen also to have applied to an oil and gas company. I was thinking more of IT then, because I was also a computer guy. Yeah, but the opportunity opened, the vacancy available for the company at that time was a safety advisor opportunity. And they looked at my resume and they said, "Oh, you have HSC level 1 to 3 already. Yeah, you could do the job." I said, "Yeah, I could do that." So I said, "Okay, let me start that. Then I'll move over to IT." But I got into it and I just couldn't leave. Yeah. So I found myself, I was in that company for about 6-7 years. Yeah, as a safety advisor. I also had also from there went on to do a master's program in safety engineering and risk management, oil and gas option. So I tell people that safety found me. Yeah, it was like a calling, it was calling me. Yeah.
It sounds like safety found you, but it said you couldn't leave. Now, they didn't handcuff you or anything, right? And say you
No,
can't leave
I
safety.
just fell in love with it.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. And you know what? That's kind of like if you talk to James and I too, we've had other roles in other lives, past lives, in this life, past lives, and you just find safety and it just becomes your passion, right? It becomes your passion to help people and to help companies succeed. So I know you have a new book, which I do want to talk about because according to James, there was quite a good talk about this down in New Orleans, and I guess tell me a little bit about what the book is about and what came to you and your partner who wrote this to fill a need. What need was it that you were trying to fill?
So typically, you find many people, life just happens to them. Yeah, no really defined trajectory. Yeah, I meet young people, even people who are already working, and I'm talking to them and said, "Oh, how did you like?" You asked me, how come safety? Yeah, so was it something you planned for? Yeah, I actually took a course that prepared me for that. So that opportunity may have come, and I did not have a safety background, and I wouldn't have gotten the job. Yeah, but like someone once said, he said it's better to be prepared for an opportunity and it never comes than for an opportunity to come and you are not prepared. Yeah, so you just keep preparing. Yeah, so we found out that in the climb back in Nigeria specifically, because when we wrote this book, it was in a context of where I was at that time. Yeah, I found that we talked to a lot of people, young people, no direct trajectory in life. Many people get into different careers and they get bored easily because it's not what they want to do. They didn't really think out the career paths. Yeah, so they get bored. Mondays happen to be statistically it's shown that Mondays, most heart attacks happen on Monday mornings. Yeah, when people are going to work that they don't like. Yeah, so this book is in that context to tell people you can actually design your life. Yeah, you can actually plan your life. You can actually set goals for your life. You can actually take hold of your life, design it the way you want it to go, and pursue it that way. What's the worst that will happen? You have a blueprint that you never achieve, than for life to happen to you and it wasn't ever planned for. Yeah, and for life, I tell people this. In life, if you don't plan for it, life will give you its own plans. And life's plans for you are they're never in your favor. Yeah, so if you don't plan for it, so you better plan for something that at least is in your favor. If you get 20%, 30%, even hit 100% of it, fantastic. But life's 100% plans of life for you is 0% in your favor. Yeah, so you want to take some part of your life.
Yeah,
and
that's
where,
funny
yeah,
that you said that earlier. My dad used to say this to me when I was little. He said there are three kinds of people in this world: people that watch things happen,
yes,
people
sir.
that make things happen, and people that wonder what the heck just
What
happened.
the heck is happening?
You know, and I found it very, very interesting. A lot of these things that are in your book really resonated with me. You know, one of the very first chapters that's in the book that really caught to me was something you wrote in the beginning in the preface from you, you know, and it said, if I can get to it here, it just kind of stuck with me last night as I was going through this. These are the best days to be alive. because of the enormous opportunities available in the age we live in.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
so many of us get stuck in a rut, and we think about our present circumstance in the micro setting of what's happening to me today without really thinking about the larger context of how blessed we are to live in a society with modern medicine, with modern technology. I mean, look, there is more computing power in my phone than what we use to send astronauts to the moon.
Yes, sir.
It's just amazing what we can do with that when we focus on the positive and not dwell so much on what's going on in the negative.
So I haven't read your book, but a lot of these things ring true that you just talked about. I used to think, I got out of school, I have a geology undergraduate, okay? And I thought, oh, I'm going to be a geologist. I'm going to work for Shell. I'm going to look for oil. I'm going to do all these things. And when I got out of school, life found me in environmental consulting. And I hated environmental consulting. I hated it, hated it, hated it. I was one of those Monday morning people that was just like, oh, I've got to go to work. I got to go to work, right? And it was when I had the epiphany that if I don't like what I do, nobody told me this, just something from within just said, if you don't like what you do, change it, right? And so when I mentor young people now, right, and they talk about, well, I don't like this, I don't like that, I say, you know, don't just quit, but make a plan. Make a plan, because you can do anything you want to do.
Yeah.
I got my PhD in my 40s. I thought I would never get it, right? I was told I was never going to get it. I was told I was never going to be able to afford it, but I made a plan and I got it. I punched my way through 2 master's degrees and a doctorate, right? You know, same with being on a board of directors or something like that. If you can believe it, if you can make a plan, you can achieve it. And that's one thing that young people need to understand, that you can change your trajectory. You can change it, right? It it can be done with a little planning and sometimes with a little heartache, right? Sometimes you have to take a step down or back to go forward. And it's always worth it if it helps you here. It
Yeah,
helps you here.
I think that's a great message for safety professionals, Stephen. We had an episode a long time ago where we talked about burnout in the safety profession. And just about every week, I get a call from someone who's saying, you know, my management team won't listen to me. The guys won't listen to me. You know, I'm extremely frustrated. How do I reboot? And Dr. Martin and I talked about that. But this quote ought to give encouragement from your book. A young man once said to a philosopher, life is hard. And the philosopher thoughtfully replied, as compared to what?
Compared to what?
As compared to what?
Yeah.
You know, so things could always be a lot worse. So are you a glass half full or a glass half empty type person? And I think that's important when we're talking about attitude, because attitude is infectious. Your attitude and the way you approach life, the way you approach your career, the way you approach your business is inspirational, because it's focused on the positive, not necessarily on the negative. And I imagine you, like many of us in life, have had some negativity. You've had challenges to overcome. Life has not always been a rose garden in Nigeria. I can assure you.
Definitely. And even if it is, roses actually have thorns. Yeah. Yes. Roses have thorns.
That's right.
In chapter 3 of this book, what we wrote, Think Like a Winner. So it resonates with what you just mentioned, Dr. Martin. You find life happens first to you here and here before it comes to the physical. So if I meet safety people also who tell me they hate their job, you ask them, why do you hate this job? Why don't you like it? Maybe they don't like a manager, they don't like the company, maybe they don't like the pay. But what they forget is the impact they bring to life, the safety consciousness they bring to the workplace. Take Veriforce as a company. Yeah, see the mission of Veriforce. And that's what attracted me more to be on the strategic advisory board. Yeah, we the mission. It seems like you're like a medical doctor. Yeah, you are our work is designed to help save lives, bring people back home safely. Yeah, from high hazard jobs. If you think about that alone, you will wake up every morning excited to do what you want to do. I tell people this. I started my first company in 2011, April 17th. Since April 17th till date, I've never woken up any day. And I'm not joking. I'm not joking, Dr. Martin and James. I've not woken up any day feeling terrible for going to work. Never. Never. Yeah, because it's not about, firstly, it's not about the money. The money is good. The money is there. Yeah, we need to work. We need to feed our families. That's a given.
Yes.
But beyond that, the main thing is the mission. Why am I doing this?
Why do you wake up every day, right?
Why do I wake up every day?
To bring workers home safe from high hazard jobs. That's why I do it.
That alone kicks you in. That alone should give you all the inspiration you need. That if I don't do this well, we may lose somebody. If I don't do this well, something may go wrong. And if it goes wrong, it can go as worse or as bad as anything. So I'm doing this for humanity. I'm doing this to make an impact. So once you see your life having meaning, that's why we talk about, there's another chapter of the book that talks about finding your true mission or finding your true, yeah. If you find your true mission, if you make it, and missions, most times people want to see, like you said, Dr. Martin, you were on your own when you had the epiphany. Nobody needed to preach to you. You didn't need any spiritual powers. No, because firstly, as human beings, yeah, whether you're spiritual or not, we are more than just physical. We're more than just flesh. Yeah, there is something about our minds. There's something about our spirits. Yeah, there's something in the subconscious. Yeah, people will call it energy. Some people will call it God or whatever they want to call it. But we know that we are just beyond what we see. Yeah, and that alone can help you connect with your true meaning, your true mission. Why are you here? And once you find that true mission, you find it resonates with you, you find you just want to go at it. And especially when you hang out or you stay with like minds.
You know, yeah. I think what happens to people is we get confused of what comes first, the process or the fruits of the process.
James, that's fantastic.
You know, Coach Saban used to talk about this all the time. Focus on the process, the next play, the next series of plays, the first quarter, the first half. Winning will take care of itself. Fantastic. And that's true in athletics. But I found that very, you know, this book just resonated with me because there's so many things I believe in from a leadership standpoint and from the way I live my life standpoint. Find your true mission and purpose in life. If you find that, you'll find joy and happiness, and the fruits of your labor will come. But if your focus is on how much money you want to make, right, that's a result. That's a result. Now, I don't want people to think James fell off the turnip truck. James is a capitalist, and somebody asked me how much money I wanted to make one time in a business deal, and I said all of it.
As much money as I can.
I want all of the money, all of it, right?
Yeah.
But I don't get up every day and have joy in what I do because of the financial return.
No,
I have a mission. I think in safety to be successful, you have to be called to this type of work because this life's not for everybody.
Yes.
You know?
So I just want to add in here.
I think Dr. Martin froze.
Yes.
But you got another chapter as she is getting unfroze here called Think Like a Winner. Think like a winner. You have to have a championship mindset if you want to win in your personal life, your business life. You know, you have to think like a winner. So since you wrote that chapter, tell us a little bit about how to think like a winner, Stephen.
So I start with this. There was a study done. Yeah, Dr. Martin, welcome back. We're talking about thinking like a winner, the chapter 3 of the book. Yeah, there was a study done. They had these basketball players, high school basketball players. Yeah, they were training to play championship. And they said, okay, you know what we'll do? We'll separate the team into 2. We'll take the best of the pack, the best 6, put them in a team, The second best, put them in another team. What we'll do, the first team that the best, they will practice. Let's say they're going to practice, say, 6 hours every day, or let's say 4 hours. So they practice 4 hours every day on the pitch. The other team, they say, well, no, you know what? We'll not practice 4 hours. We'll practice 2 hours only. But the other 2 hours, you're going to watch videos of successful players. Yeah, so the Michael Jordan, all the big shots, the Sharks and everybody. Yeah, you practice 2 hours, then sit back and watch videos of all the good shots, all the big plays that has ever happened. No bad play, all good plays. Yeah, when they did this for that period, let's say about 8 weeks, and they went on to play the game, they tested both parties. Do you know who did better?
Oh.
The guys who practiced and watched videos of big shots. I said that to say this. The pictures you feed yourself with are the first things. What goes into your mind, what goes through your eyes, what goes through what are the things you absorb in your subconscious? If they are not winner-like things, yeah, that is how we begin to introduce doubt, to begin to introduce false things into our mind, and those things bring us down. It was said also, a study also done, said if you tell somebody that you cannot do it, yeah, use negative words on someone, you will need to outdo those words by repeating the opposite of it 16 times.
Wow.
So if a manager tells somebody in the office, oh, you are no good, you're terrible at your job, you're terrible at your job, yeah, and the guy believes it, that manager or another manager or somebody else needs to repeat to that guy 16 times the number of times he was told he can't do it. Yeah, for him to come back to neutralize one negative effect.
You know, so I agree with you, and I think, you know, from a very early age, I had parents and grandparents that believed in me, that were encouraging to me.
Little wonder you're successful the way you are today. Yeah.
You know, I didn't grow up in a home where they told me I was stupid, I couldn't do things, you know. But what they were able to develop was not my dependency of where I go based on people's belief in James. They fostered an attitude that I believe in myself. And Coach Bryant probably said it best. He said, if you believe in yourself and you have dedication and pride and never quit, you'll be a winner.
Definitely.
The price of victory is high, but so are the rewards. And I think a lot of times why people fail in their careers, they fail in their personal lives. If I wish I had $1 for every time somebody told me they wanted to start their own business and do what we do at Mariner Golf, because I'm like, come on, get in the game. Usually, you know what, it doesn't happen. And I think that first year, what happens is they start having doubts about their abilities to run their own company. And I know you addressed that in your book as well. But before we get to that belief in yourself is foundational. If you don't believe in yourself, who's going to believe in you?
I believe you can create that foundation, right? Before I was kind of cut off, or I cut myself off there, I was going to say, yes, I agree with James that sometimes you're foundational. You get that from your parents, you get that from your hardship when you're young, you get that. It's just an internal, innate thing that you have. However, you can build that in other people as a leader, right? As a mentor. And what I have found is the amount of times I say, you can in a mentoring session or in a conversation with somebody who has a dream, you can, right? I've seen so many more people succeed because I'm saying that 16 times for everybody in their life that didn't, right? That's a good mentor, right? Yes. And then beyond that, the other message that I give, and I think that you alluded to this, is we're on this earth and we just get older, right? That nobody's going to turn back the clock and go back to their 20s and take their degree again and not get a geology degree, get a safety degree or not, right? But the beauty of this is in 3 or 4 years, you'll be 3 or 4 years older, right? Why not be 3 or 4 years older with a doctoral degree? Why not be 3 or 4 years older in the career of your choice? Why not be 3 or 4 years older with a successful business? And I think when people internalize that, when they really hear that, and then somebody says, and you can,
Mm.
it
Well,
does
I think
happen.
there's a natural tendency toward mediocrity. Okay. There are a lot of people who are satisfied at being mediocre people. I'm going to read an excerpt from this book, see, and let y'all respond to it. This is a quote by Stephen. In life, mediocrity is an achievement that most people are capable of easily attaining. There are a few who make a decision to move notches higher into the realm of high achievement and excellence. That is a profound statement, and I believe that. I believe that because people, you know, Coach Saban says this, and I see it in my own life. It's probably the best quote I've ever heard on leadership. High achievers hate mediocre people, and mediocre people hate high achievers. When I look back over my career at the conflicts I've had in the workplace, I like to think of myself as a high achiever. You know, I've been the president of something since I was 28 years old. I'm 52 this year. So, you know, you don't get there without being a high achiever. I'm not tooting my own horn, but, you know, you kind of, you can read the CV if you want to. But here's the deal. Throughout my career, there's been frustration on both sides. I've been frustrated with mediocre people been frustrated with me. And I never put it together that I heard Coach Saban say it. High achievers hate mediocre people hate high achievers. But according to your book, I don't have to stay a mediocre person.
No.
That's right. And you also don't have to be a high achiever. I'm going to add this, and I don't know if Stephen says this in his book. You don't have to be a high achiever that fails to recognize a high achiever amongst the mediocre. Okay. And that is our mission as people who drive ourselves, right? Is to pick out the mediocre people who don't know that they have it within themselves to be the high achievers, to move farther.
That's fantastic. Dr. Martin, what you just said now, I'm going to respond to you. Yeah. Mahatma Gandhi said something. He said, a candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. Yeah. Most times as a high achiever, we want to, you also don't gain anything by pulling yourself down to become a mediocre because people are angry with you. You're a high achiever, you're a high achiever. If I have to be consistently and persistently angry at mediocrity, yeah, and call mediocrity out. Yeah, if mediocrity wants to move up to high achievement, learn from me. And you know the best part of it, becoming a high achiever and a mediocre is just one step. Just very simple. It's just one step. Yeah, from having a 69, which is a B, yeah, and having an A 70 is just one mark. Yeah, so ordinary and extraordinary is just a little extra that individuals put into themselves. Yeah, you're studying. Let me use James for example. You went to the same school, studied the same courses, got even to the same role in the same company. Yeah, you put yourself out. Like you told me before we started this podcast that you've been up since 2 a.m.
I have been.
You've been up since 2 a.m.
I'm powered not only by Veriforce, but by Monster energy drink.
so it has Monster to stay awake on this podcast. So that extra hours you just put in, yeah, it's something someone will sleep through it. Yeah, and so I have to work, or work resumes by 8. So I can wake up by 7:30, I go to work. Yeah, close by 5. Once it's 5, he's out of the door. It's not adding any value, not to the company, not to himself. He's not taking any courses. He's not studying. He's not reading up anything. Yeah, he's just comfortable where he is. Yeah. If you do your best at your job to be the best at the job, based on the task given to you, the best you will be is a mediocre. Because the job is not designed to stretch you further. You stretch yourself. Self-development comes from you. You are the one that will push yourself. Okay, I want to do something extra for myself. Dr. Martin, you talked about pushing yourself through 2 masters, pushing yourself through a doctorate program. Yeah. And you mentioned it very well. I had my first doctorate admission in 2019. Yeah, I turned it down. I said, oh, I'm not ready for this now. Financially, I'm not ready. Where am I? I moved it up. I got another one 2020. I moved it. COVID happened. So okay, maybe I'll do it next year. I deferred and deferred. But I told myself, this year, I'm taking up. So I got myself, I'm in 2 different programs. One is more technical. Yeah, I'm doing an environmental toxicology one at TSU. I'm doing a change management one on strategic leadership at Robert University. So one is more online, yeah. But I'm finding myself is tough. I was talking to my faculty yesterday. I said, please give me 48 hours more to turn in my project. But I know I have to do that. If I don't do it, 4 years from now, I will still be Stephen Oji, but without a doctorate degree. Yeah, so what's the worst that will happen? I'll be Stephen Oji with at least 1 or 2 doctorate degree. Yeah, whether I use it for something then, if the opportunity comes for it then, fantastic. If it doesn't come, I am just more knowledgeable in a particular field. Yeah, to hold conversations in those fields. Yeah, so most times we do this thinking that we're doing it. Life is not a dress rehearsal. There is no life after now that I want to let me rehearse now so I will live a better life later. This is the main life. This is life itself. So whatever you put in now is your life, is for you. As a worker, as a safety person, as a Veriforce staff, in any company you work, wherever you find yourself, this is your life. There is no other life after now for you to say, okay, let me manage this one. Let me keep up. Let me slow down. I will live a better life later. No, this is the one you know. This is the one you have now. So it's now for you to push yourself. And so I want to be the best I can at this life. Everywhere I am, I will not be a mediocre. I will not give excuses. Yeah, someone said excuse is for fools. Yeah, you just give excuses, you give excuses, you give excuses. It doesn't work. I will take up my life and I'll push myself.
Part of being a leader too, Stephen, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is, and I'm going to go back to your example of the 69 versus the 70, the little more that somebody can give. Part of being a leader is finding what you just described in yourself, right? Is pushing yourself and becoming the best that you can be, and being self-motivated, or finding that within yourself, finding a good mentor. But part of that is taking some of your extra and sprinkling it on down to the mediocre and see what grows, right? Because your drop of extra may land on somebody's 69 and sprout like a fantastic beautiful flower, right? And that's the beauty of it, right? But the beauty of it is we get up every day to keep workers safe from high hazard jobs, right? To bring them home safe. But we also get up every day, or at least I do, to make better safety professionals,
Yes.
to teach people to do the things that I do and to do them better than what I do, right? And so that's part of giving back, right? And if you do that as well, right, you're just getting older and you can't take it with you, right? So you have to give back. And if you sprinkle enough of that into those 69s to make them 70s, to make it full, they may grow. They may not all grow, but some of them are going to grow.
You know,
and that what you just explained, Dr. Martin, that is true leadership. That is leadership. Now you're now moving beyond yourself. So it's not just about me. Yeah, I'm making impact. I'm also giving room for other people and also helping them make impact. And that's why I said, Magani said, a candle lighting another. So you have your own light. You are helping others find their own paths. Yeah, you're helping them find their own paths. Yeah,
I'm gonna say this,
that is of true leadership.
Before you can light somebody else's candle, you got to be lit.
Yes, fantastic. Yeah.
Yes.
There's too many mediocre people leading mediocre people, right?
Yeah.
So how do I get to be a high achiever? How do I accomplish all the goals that you put out here in your book? Because I really like how your book flowed. And we talk about setting goals and achieving goals. It's one word: discipline. Discipline. We all have 24 hours in a day. All of us have responsibilities. All of us have work we have to do. We have things at home that we have to do. What is discipline? It's doing the things that I know I'm supposed to do when I don't want to do them. I make myself do it. That's
You just described
okay?
just described Jocko Willink, right?
You know?
Discipline will not allow it. I have a t-shirt and it's from Jocko Willink, and it's one of his sayings, discipline will not allow it. You must be disciplined in what you're doing.
Definitely.
I agree, James, 100%.
And so that discipline, what happens to people is they get extremely motivated to go to a goal. And whether it's education, whether it's we're going to buy a house, whether it's I'm going to save money, whatever it is. And we get real excited once we start that goal. But then we slack off, right? We slack off and we say, I'm going to do that tomorrow, or I'll put that off to next week, or, whatever. Next thing you know, you're off the diet, you're off the plan to achieve excellence. So Coach Bryant used to carry this poem around in his pocket, in his wallet, and he'd read it every day when he got up in the morning. And I'm going to share it with you because I think it's powerful. It says, this is the beginning of a new day. God has given me this day to use as I will. I can waste it or I can use it for good. What I do today is important because I'm exchanging a day of my life for it. When tomorrow comes, this day will be gone forever, leaving something in its place I have traded for it. I want it to be gain, not loss, good, not evil, success, not failure, in order that I shall never forget the price I paid for it. When you put it in that perspective, what you do today, you're trading a day of your life for it.
All right.
So have it be of value, have it to be something that adds to the betterment of other people, to the goals. Use that discipline in your life. And I think that's what comes through in your book. A lot of people want the end result. I like to tell my kids this. They want right now in their 20s what me and their mama have in our 50s, right?
They want their corner office. They want
right.
they want the good money. They
forget it took us 30 years to get here, of a lot of hard work and sleepless nights and standing by the mailbox hoping the check would show up. They don't remember, or they weren't around for us paying those dues. So what's the point? To get to here, you got to go through all that other.
Definitely.
And sometimes there's adversity, and how you deal with adversity. Another thing you talk about in your book, it's not just a mindset. It's going to happen. Everybody goes through hard times. So how you respond to adversity determines whether you're going to achieve your goal or not.
Definitely. And talking about discipline and staying true, that's why the last chapter of the book is never give up. You have to stick with it until you find your true mission, until you achieve those goals you've set for yourself. So I tell friends, you already ask, Steven, so what's happening? How is it going? I said, I'm working on it. If I can't see the goal now, that means that's not the end. So I'm still working on it. So you just keep at it, you keep pushing yourself. The joy that helps you go through the adversity is when you know there is a sense of purpose. You have that sense of purpose. You know why you're doing this. So some people can be in the same office. One is complaining about the same job. Another person is happy about that same job. One sees it as a means to an end. Another person sees it, I'm just going through this. I need to go through this because of where I am going to. So both of them, same job, same experience, but they react differently. And it all boils down to what Dr. Martin mentioned, and also you alluded to, James, that is in the mind. It starts from the mind. If your mind is right, your environment, you will interpret things differently. You will see it differently. You tell people every time. When you come to an environment, the environment may not change, but your mind can change. You can interpret it differently. You can interpret that same circumstances or that same circumstance in a positive way. that boost your mind to want to work through it and make it work for you. Yeah. Whereas another person comes into that same environment and all the person is saying is just evil, bad things, all the negatives, everything. And I just said that, but an advice, if you listen to this podcast now or you listen to it later, avoid negative people. Negative is contagious. Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's contagious. It pulls you down. Yeah. If you want to think like a winner, avoid negative people. Fill your mind with things that look like your success story, where you're going to. For example, I'll be talking to Dr. Martin again and again. I'm talking to James. I'll keep talking to you guys. Dr. Martin, you had 2 masters. I had 2 masters. I'm working on a doctorate and another one. I need to talk to you. How did you make it? How did you do it? Yeah, I need to
I
gain
want
that.
another doctorate now. I feel inadequate.
I just
So
want
you see,
one.
that's why I should get 2. I should get 2 at the same time, so that
I'm one and done on that. But that's one of those things, though. Setting goals, personal goals, goals that mean something to you, and then not quitting.
Definitely.
You're going to have adversity. But I look over my life in different times in my life, and you don't always feel this when you're going through it, right? Because adversity is painful.
Yeah.
It's painful. But when you look back, it's those painful times that you succeeded, or even if you failed but had to come back from and overcome. Those are moments of pride. Those are moments that build teams. Why do you think in the military, boot camp and training is so difficult? Or in football and sports, your fall practice, your spring practice are so hard because it's that adversity that binds us together.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So be thankful for those hard times because they make you who you are. But, Teddy Roosevelt, tough times don't last, tough people do. And if you want to be a high achiever in life and in business and in your safety practice and in your marriage, discipline, set goals, be disciplined about how you go about doing the things necessary to achieve your goals. James don't want to get up at 2:30 in the morning and work. But sometimes James has to, right?
But you do, right?
But I do, because here's what motivates James. It's not the joy of winning. It's the fear of failure for me.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I hate to lose more than I like to win. And that may not work for other people. Other people need to be motivated by the win.
It's mindset. It's mindset, right? I mean, I know that James, you can pull these quotes out of your hat anytime. You've got great quotes from the great coaches and stuff like that. And you know that we're both fans of Jocko, right? And I've been following his stuff, and discipline will not allow that. Is just, when you get in that mindset and you're thinking, I don't want to, I can't, whatever, that discipline will not allow that. It is a good saying. And then there's 2 other t-shirts that I wear. One is good. It says good on it, right? And what that means, as he explains it, is, so I didn't get it this time. Good, because it gives me more time to train. It gives me more time to work at it. It gives me more time to make it better. And the other one is again. Life is going to hit you. Life is going to hit you hard a lot of times, right? And I learned this early on in life. You just say, again, I'm strong. Again, go ahead. Again, good. And eventually, when you reach that goal, the number of times that you said those things, make it all worth it. Because like James says, you win in the end, right? Because you hate losing.
Yeah,
Because you hate losing.
Yeah.
I don't want to say I'm a sore loser. I lose or have never lost, right?
Yeah, and for you, James,
but
yeah,
I don't like to lose. Period.
No, he doesn't.
I remember when it first dawned on me when I was coaching football. We won a '95 state championship in the largest classification in the state of Alabama, and we won that championship game 7-6. Everybody else is jumping around the field, was super excited, and all I felt was relief. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that we won, because I don't like to lose. but that doesn't mean I've never lost. And if you look, you got to deal with losses. You're going to lose at some point in life.
Definitely.
You don't always win, but if you lose gracefully, you're disappointed, but you never quit. You can come back.
Definitely.
You can come back. You know, everybody's going through some adversity in their career, and you know, having that discipline, staying focused on that goal. We didn't get it this time. You know, I was sitting in one of my doctoral mentorships last week with a professor from Columbia Southern, and they said, you know, most people when they defend don't make it the first time. I wonder how many of those people quit when they're defending their dissertation and they get told you need to go fix this, fix that, fix the other. I wonder how many of them quit and don't come back. Do you know, Dr. Martin?
I don't, but if they're working with me as their chair, they don't quit.
I'm not going to quit. Y'all going to give me my degree because I'm going to learn.
I'm
I'm
actually angling to be James's chair for his dissertation at CSU, and there will be no quitting.
You've
Because
too far.
I believe if people strive to that level and they chug through that stuff, that they're not going to quit, because that reflects also on my ability to give them part of myself to become greater, to become better. So there will be no quitting in dissertations.
There's no quitting.
There will be no quitting.
But
definitely, you've gone too far to be quitting. Yeah, I think it was Bruce Feller in one of his books about transition talked about life is not linear, so life is not a straight line. Yeah, life just happens. Yeah, there are ups and downs. There are good times. There are bad times. There are wicked times. There are evil times. There are great times, and it just happens. And sometimes all the bad things could just happen back to back. Yeah, like Murphy's Law says, when something wants to go bad, it goes bad at the worst possible time. Yeah, so it happens.
always.
Yeah. But that is, and I think that's where the younger generation they're not being taught that. They expect life to just be linear. Life just goes smoothly. Yeah, from grade 1, you go to grade 2, you go to grade 3, you go to grade 4. Yeah. You write exams. Some of the exams you don't, they're just tests, you just write them in class, they're easy exams, you just keep moving. Yeah, until you get to college. You now know that life is not actually like that. That you could be in college and you don't graduate. Yeah, you could go for a master's program or for a doctorate, like we're talking about. Yeah. So when you know life is not linear, life goes like that. It requires a lot of discipline to still stay you, to still be focused. As a safety officer, yeah, something happens to you in your love life, for example, in your marriage, but you still have to show up for work on Monday. Yeah. How do you transition your mind so that you know, because the company is still waiting, the company is thinking about you. If you bring your marriage crisis to workplace, you could light the place up. So how do you still stay disciplined in the workplace and separate both and still be human and okay? Yeah. So those are the things that we don't talk so much about, but I think that's why this podcast is there. Yeah, that is what we do at Veriforce. Yeah, and that is what this book also talks about. How can you?
I got to get your book. So I need your book.
So it's on Amazon.
As we kind of wrap this up, because we're at the top of the hour, the book is called Crafting Your Own Turf. Crafting Your Own Turf. So, Stephen, if people want this book, how can they go about getting this book?
Yeah, it's on Amazon. It's on Amazon. Yeah, and it's a good time to just say this. I co-authored the book with Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy is the renowned international speaker. He's an American, a Canadian American, but he's based in San Diego. I represent him in Nigeria. I brought him to Nigeria for conferences twice. In those conferences, we had almost 5,000 entrepreneurs, top CEOs come for those conferences and all of that. We co-authored the book. He said that we write a book for the Nigerian market and also for the global space that people can actually use it. Yeah, in designing their lives. I chose the topic, the title of the book, by the way, because that's what I feel my purpose in life is to help people craft their own turf, help people design a better strategy for their life that will help them achieve more in life, in their career, and also in their families. And that's the essence, that's the true mission for me. Yeah, for being a book. And it's on Amazon. If you go on Amazon and put Craft Your Own Talk by Brian Tracy and Stephen Oji, you'll find the book.
Sold. Well, thanks again for coming on, Stephen. We really appreciate it. And we appreciate everybody who listens to the Risk Matrix. The risk of not taking or investing in yourself is a big risk, especially when it comes to saving lives and bringing workers home safe from high hazard jobs. If you like what James and I talk about and the great guests like I'm gonna say Dr. Oji that we brought on, Stephen Oji that we brought on, please like us. Make comments in the comments section. Go to the YouTube channel and sign into YouTube and subscribe to the YouTube. Check us out on Spotify. And thanks again for listening. And as James says,
y'all keep bringing those workers home safe from high hazard jobs.